Hey guys, Miss Ross here for our next science video for the week. So this week we're going to be learning about two different things. We're going to be learning about types of energy, and we're going to be learning about recycling. So we're going to start out with the types of energy. So here we go. All right, so energy is the ability to do work or to make something happen. You might have said in your life, I don't have any energy for today. That means that you didn't feel like doing work or making something happen because you didn't have enough energy. Now, as humans, we can get energy from food, like fruits and vegetables. We can get energy from resting. But there's different kinds of energy that you might not have heard of before. So this is how I like to remember the different types of energy. And it's with these letters, all the letters in MELTS. Each of those letters are the beginning of one type of energy. So M stands for mechanical energy. Now mechanical energy is movement. So when you ride a bike, when you use your scissors, when you wind up a toy and it moves, that's mechanical energy. Now, E stands for electrical energy. And the easiest way to remember electrical energy is it's anything you plug in or anything that uses a battery of any kind. That's electrical energy. And then we have L is light energy. Light energy is exactly what it sounds like. It's light. So sunlight, light from a lamp, light from a light bulb in your house, all of that is light energy. Thermal energy is heat. So when we talked about heating and cooling in class, remember the heat made the solid change to a liquid, the ice changed to water. That's heat energy. So sunlight can be heat energy, a fire, your oven, your microwave, all of those different kinds of things can be heat energy. Now, sound energy. You're hearing some sound energy right now. You're hearing me talk. That's sound energy. When you play music, that's sound energy. So we're going to look at each one of those types, and I'm going to show you some pictures to go with each one. So, mechanical energy. Now, mechanical energy is making something move, but you're not going to use a battery. You're not going to plug it in. So, do you have to plug your bike in to make it work? No, you don't. How do you make your bike work? You have to pedal. That's you creating mechanical energy that's making your bike move. These wind-up toys, I know I got some of those at my house. Wind-up toys, they don't need batteries because they use mechanical energy. You wind it up, and winding it up makes that toy move. Now, do your scissors need batteries? No, because just by opening and closing our scissors, we're making them move. That's mechanical energy. Now, what about that hammer? You see that kid using a hammer? Does a hammer need batteries? No, because all you have to do is use your own power to hit those nails in, and that's mechanical energy. I remember mechanical energy by moving around because that makes me think I can make it move without any batteries or without any plugs on those things. That's mechanical energy. Now, electrical energy is not mechanical energy because you need to plug it in to have it work, or you need batteries for it. So if you look right here, there's a plug. Anything you have to plug in uses electrical energy. And there's electrical currents that go through all the wires in those cords to make things work, like your coffee maker or your phone charger or a printer. If you have a toy in your house that needs batteries, it uses electrical energy. When you don't have your phone plugged in and it's still working, it's because it still has enough energy to work without that cord, because it stores energy in your phone. Now, light energy is exactly what we think when we think of light. The sun. Is it really dark when the sun's not out? Yes, because there's no light. The light comes from the sun outside. Now, you might have a fan or a light fixture in your house that when you turn a switch, it turns the light on, like this. Light energy. I also put a picture on here of the lamps that we use in our classroom. Those lamps use light energy and they help us to see our work and to see what we're doing. All right, now the last one is thermal or heat energy. Now, there are two different words for this type of energy. Thermal energy is our fancy word, thermal energy. And heat energy is not so fancy word. Now, when you get to 3rd grade, if you know the word thermal energy, they're going to be so impressed. So let's try to remember that heat energy is also called thermal energy. Now, different types of heat energy, a fire, because when you have a fire, it gets really hot. That's creating heat energy. Or a stove. When you turn your stove on or you turn your oven on, that's creating heat energy that cooks your food. Or a microwave, that heats things up. Sometimes when you put things in the microwave too long, you shouldn't touch it because it's so hot. You need something to help you pick it up. Now you might be wondering, why is there a picture of kids on this page? Because you can create heat energy. Just like you can create mechanical energy, you can create heat energy. Think about it. When you're outside and you're running, you might have been really cold when you started running, but if you run long enough, doesn't it make you really hot? You get so hot, you need to take a break, you need some cold water. You just created heat energy yourself. Isn't that cool? So, next time you're out running and you get really hot, think about how cool it is that you can create heat energy. All right, so those are all our different types of heat energy. Now, what I want you to do this week is to find some different types of energy in your house. Now, the last one we're going to talk about, I almost forgot, is sound energy. Now, you're hearing me talk right now, and that's sound energy. When you're singing with Mr. Copeland or with Miss McLean, you're using sound energy to sing. You know, inside of your throat, you have vocal cords, and they vibrate. And when they vibrate, that creates sound. Vibrations create sound, just like me clapping creates sound. Now think about this dancer right here. She has tap shoes on. Can you think about what a tap shoe would sound like when it hits the ground? That's sound energy. Or any kind of speakers that you have. You know that I have a little speaker in our classroom that actually makes a really big sound because it's powerful sound energy. If you feel a speaker, you're going to feel those vibrations that create sound. So this week, I want you to find some examples of energy in your house and take a picture of it and share it with me so I can see the types. Specifically, we really want you to find something that is thermal or heat energy, something that is sound energy, and something that is light energy. If you can find electrical or mechanical, you can do that as well. All right, so that's all about types of energy. Now, The next thing that we're going to be looking at this week is recycling. Now, you might have heard of recycling, or you might actually already do some recycling, but we're going to talk about why recycling is important and what happens to all of that trash when we throw it away. So let's look at a video that's going to tell us all about recycling and why it's important. So here we go.
Hey guys! Nice work, Squeaks! We're just taking out the trash. You probably don't spend much time thinking about trash, at least not until it starts to smell and it's time to take it out. But we all make trash every day, like the eggshells left over from breakfast, or the plastic bag from your lunch, or metal cans that your mom or dad might open up at dinner time. Plus, we bring a lot of papers home from school, and they don't all fit on the refrigerator. We usually throw a lot of this trash or waste into the garbage can, but did you ever wonder what happens to all this waste? Well, it doesn't just magically disappear, and what happens to it depends on what it's made of. For example, some waste decomposes. When something decomposes, it breaks down or rots. If you've ever taken a walk in the woods, then you've probably noticed things decomposing, like the leaves that fell last autumn, or an old log. You can tell that those things are decomposing because they're very slowly getting brown and mushy. They decompose because those things came from something that was once alive. The leaves in the log were once parts of a tree, and we make waste that decomposes too. Usually, this waste is also made of things that were once alive, like apple cores, eggshells, banana peels, and pretty much all of the leftover food from your table. This kind of waste can be put to good use as food for your garden, called compost. We're going to talk about how you can make compost in another episode. But what about the waste that doesn't rot or break down? Some of this waste goes into a dump, also known as a landfill, and it basically just sits there, making a big, smelly mess. And it'll keep sitting there for a long time. Luckily, there's a way that you can get rid of your waste without adding to that mess. By recycling. Recycling means taking waste and making it into something else. Maybe you have a recycling bin like this in your school or even in your own house. Things that we can recycle include metal, plastic, and paper. So let's check out what happens to the waste that you put in the recycling bin. First, all of the recycling is collected and sorted into different kinds of waste. All the plastic goes into one pile, all the metal in another, and the paper gets its own pile. The metal is taken to a special factory where it's crushed and then squished together with the metal from other recycling bins. This big lump of metal is then chopped into little tiny pieces. Next, those pieces are melted in a big oven and then poured into molds shaped like blocks. These new blocks of metal are then sent to other factories where they can be used to make other things made of metal. So the metal cans that you throw into the recycling bin don't go to the dump. They get a whole new life as a new can, or a piece of foil, or even part of a bike or a car. And your old milk jug, made of plastic, can be turned into something new too. It's also taken to a special factory where the plastic is shredded into tiny bits and then melted in a really hot oven and made into little pellets. Factories can take these pellets and make them into new things like water bottles and food containers, and even bigger things like park benches, carpet, and even some kinds of clothing. So what about all those papers that you've brought home? Paper is recycled in a way that's a little different from metal and plastic. It's taken to a recycling center where it's mixed with other paper and a whole bunch of water until it gets all goopy. This goop is then smashed between two rollers, which squish it into big, flat sheets. These sheets are left to dry. Then they're cut into pieces of new paper, which we can use for art projects. If you think about it, when we recycle, we're breaking down waste that doesn't decompose on its own. And that makes less waste for all of us. So keep recycling. Thanks for joining us on SciShow Kids. Do you have a question that you'd like to ask us? Let us know in the comments below or send us an email at kids@thescishow.com. We'll see you next time.
All right, so that is what happens to waste. And if we recycle it, it can give it a whole new life as something new. And then it doesn't go to that landfill to make a big smelly mess. So this week, I want you to try to find some things that you can recycle. Now, if you have a recycling bin, like those blue bins we saw in the video, you can put your recycling into that bin. If you don't have a recycling bin, you can use a paper bag like the one that all of our work came in, or even a plastic bag to put some things that you can recycle. And if you don't have a recycling bin or somebody that comes and picks up your recycling, you can find a place with your parents that takes recycling and take your recycling bag to that place for it to be recycled. Also, I live in an apartment, and if I put my recycling in a special recycling bag that's blue, they know that it's recyclable trash, so they'll take it to a recycling place. So I want you to find some things. Can you think of some things that you use in your house that you could recycle? They said some metal, like foil, or cans, like soda cans, can be recycled. Plastic, like plastic water bottles, can be recycled. And paper, anything that's made of paper can be recycled. And sometimes, if we're not quite sure if it can be recycled, it has a little picture of recycling on it. Let me see if I can find something that is recyclable. Here we go. Now, do you see this little sign right here? That's the recycling sign. So that means when I'm done with this syrup bottle, it can be recycled. So if you're not quite sure, usually you can find a little recycling picture like this one on your different types of food to see if it's recyclable. So this week, I want you to find some different types of energy in your house, send me a picture, and find some things that you can recycle and send me a picture of the things that you recycled this week, taking care of our planet. I love you and I miss you so much. I hope you enjoyed the science video for this week.